Lo there, do I see my father? Lo there, do I see my mother? Lo there, do I see my sisters and my brothers? Lo there, do I see the line of my people back to the beginning? And lo, they do call to me. They bid me take my place in the hallowed halls of Valhalla, where the brave may live forever. Hello, everyone. I am Corion, your witch in residence, and today we are going to talk about arguably my favorite movie of all time, The 13th Warrior. Before we get in too deep, I am going to ask for you to be the 13th warrior to my channel. And if you have not yet liked and subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. It helps me grow. It helps the message of positivity and spirituality and fellowship that I want to bring out to the world to be reached by more people. And if you can do your part, I know that we will all succeed together. With that obligatory ritual out of the way, let's talk about the 13th Warrior. Now, I know not a lot of people have seen this. Certainly, it was a bit of a bomb at the box office in 1999. But at its core, what this movie is, it is the story of a Arab man who is sent to be a diplomatic envoy to a group of Northmen, and in doing so, is pulled along on an adventure with 12 Northmen and himself. Whether you decide it was fate or the ramblings of an old woman that decided these 13 men needed to go help and save a village to the far north is subject to interpretation. But at the end of the day, the adventure isn't entirely what this movie is about. This movie is about fellowship. Now, when I say fellowship, what am I really talking about? I am talking about when a group of people, brothers, sisters, and everything in between, decide to journey together through hardship, and in doing so come out in a tighter, more familial bond. Because the one thing that hardship makes us learn is that we are all together. And sometimes, those hardships aren't particularly obvious. I mean, how many of us have friends in high school that we still occasionally chat with on Facebook? How many of us have still talk to our college roommates, right? And how many of us have had lost a loved one with someone else and grown closer to that person because of the shared terrible experience? This is a particularly meaningful video to me because the 13th Warrior is particularly special because my college roommate, a very close friend of mine, recently passed. And on Sunday, when this video hits, I'm actually going to be at his funeral. And part of the reason why I wanted to talk about this video is because the two of us would continuously watch this video whenever one of us was down, because this is how we bonded together over seeing another's adventure and seeing ourselves in each of these warriors. My friend was a particularly blonde man with long, shaggy hair, and he looked very close to one of the characters. I will leave it up to the viewers to watch the movie and decide if they can spot the character I most identify with. If you mention him in the comments, and specifically the best line he speaks in those comments, I will do my best to arrange for a little special something to be sent to you. So please keep that in mind. I'd love to see your guesses in the comments. Go for it if you can. But the reason why I bring up fellowship and how important it is because in the modern world, The world encourages us to not have those kind of fellowships, to not go on mutually shared adventures as brothers. Um, the reason being could be many, but that's not the point. The point is we need to ignore that and go on them anyway. Not because it's easy to decide that one of your friends needs to go on a road trip because they need the adventure or they have a journey that they have to complete and they could use a friend, but because it's hard and because that shared challenge brings people together. And today, with everything going on in the world, we need more people deciding to join together because that ultimately is how we keep the monsters at bay. It isn't by a lone man standing on his own and standing proud in defiance of all forces. It is a group, it is a community coming together and standing with one voice and saying, "We've had enough. This is the line. You will cross no further," and holding those monsters to get, at bay together. All right. I can make many, many comments about, or analogies or metaphors about how a group unified is stronger than an individual. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. When you see that for yourself, when you experience those bonds, that is when you will know the true strength and power that unity can bring. And you build that unity through shared difficulties, through shared experiences, through hardship, and ultimately through caring for one another in a bond of fellowship. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's do that, okay? Let's bring back the wondrous glory that is a hey, Steve is feeling terrible. Let's get the guys together. Let's go on a road trip. Let's go to that place that we know he loves. Even if it's a steakhouse down the block, let's get together. Let's go. And let's do everything we can to give him one good day, one moment of absolute friggin' glory. Not because we need it, but because he needs it. Okay? That is how we grow, is by deciding once in a while to put ourself aside, put our egos beside, and decide I need to help my brother by choice because you know what? He would do the same for me. And even if you're not sure if he would do the same for you, I guarantee you, you do that for somebody and they will from that point on. And you know why I know that? Because it's been done for me. I've done it for my friends and it works. Do this, gentlemen. Decide that being a group, being bonded with your brothers is more important than, playing another game of Counter-Strike or, watching a movie on your own alone. You have the courage, you have the power to stand up out of that chair, even if it's a really comfy one like this one, to get up and be with your brothers. Because I am telling you now, you do not know when fate will decide to take one of your friends. The truth is, how long any of us has, no one can know. All we can do is make glorious moments out of the time we have. And if you don't do that, are you going to look back when you're 80 or 100 and say, gee, I wish I had played another game of Counter-Strike? Or are you going to say, you know, I was so glad that I could be there when my friends needed me, and that when I was down, I was there for my friends. Now, this is particularly hard, like I said, because I've recently suffered a pretty terrible loss. Um, so I am trying to fight back a little bit of tears to do this, but it is only because I believe in this so much. I believe that we are stronger as a group, even if we disagree about some things. Look, we don't have to agree on everything to get along. What we have to decide is that the things that unite us are more important than the things that divide us. And the things that divide us, we can work on. There's a great line in the 13th Warrior when Eben, one of the main characters, is leaving. Um, First, when he initially arrived, they referred to him simply as Arab. And then when he gave his very, very long name, they just simply shortened it to Aben because it worked for them. And after a certain point, he started being referred to as little brother. And, that's an important distinction. So as little brother is going home, they he says, I will pray for your journey. And this Arab man says, to which God? And he says, to all of them. His friend, says, to all of them. And he says, where you come from, you may only need one, but here we need many. And his friend laughs and understands that this was not meant to be any sort of insult, but to simply say, hey, I respect your beliefs. I have mine. I'm going to do what I can in mine to show you how much I care for your well being. So let's do that, okay? Let's decide, hey, you know what? You may have some different political views than I do, but that doesn't matter because I care about you and I'm going to go to bat for you. Okay? We've Look, we can argue that at this time we are encouraged to be more divided than ever before. Well, it wasn't too long ago that a lot of Americans put their differences aside and said in one voice, you don't get to harm my brothers. And in one glorious moment stood up together and stood beside each other and decided to simply say no and fight back. So it's possible. Your generations have done it. Let's do it again. Let's do this for all of us because we need it and you need it. I believe in you. I really want to thank you all for joining me this week. I've been quite ill the last week. I'm barely getting back over it. You may not be able to hear it in my voice, but it's pretty hoarse. So I'm going to end things off here with a statement of merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. The video is over, and thank you so much for watching. Take care.